Welcome to Bible at the Bunk. Here we are in Honesdale, Pennsylvania, with our special guest, Rabbi Dr. Jeffrey Coburn, head of school at North Shore Hebrew Academy in Great Neck, New York.
Very happy to be here.
Great to have you this morning.
Thank you.
In chapter 16 in the book of Kings, we have a lot of political instability. It reads very rapidly and disjointed, and we have deaths and murders and rebellions and suicides. It's kind of, you can't even keep track of what's happening in the litany of kings and their lives. But we also have something really kind of quirky and interesting at the ends of the chapter, which seems like a little bit of an add-on. In verse 34, we're told that Chiel, some random guy, we don't know anything about him, rebuilds the city of Jericho. And we had been told earlier in the book of Joshua, in chapter 6, in the book of Joshua, that a curse would be put upon whoever rebuilds Jericho, and that their first son would die with the beginning of the construction of the city, and their last son would die with the completion of the construction. And in fact, that's what happens to Chiel in this chapter. So we have this kind of disjointed chapter, and then this add-on at the end that's harking back to the book of Joshua, and it just feels like a really strange mix of narratives and reminders and curses and life and death all jumbled together. What do you have to offer about that?
If you ever needed proof that the Tanakh is not a history book, this chapter is your proof, because it jumps back and forth between the kingdom of Israel and the kingdom of Judah, and halfway through this and halfway through that. And what I think is going on here, the narrative is speaking to the disjointed nature of the times. Like, people didn't know what was going on and who's the king, and this one was king for 7 years, this one king for 13 years, and then the 10th year of this guy's reign, then this guy it's all over the place, and it must have been very difficult times in which to live and in which you just know what's going on, which some of us can relate to.
Yeah.
But so in terms, and I think that Chiel's story also points to that, because here's someone who has, not only is it disjointed, but there's almost a forgetting of what came before, which the Jews are usually pretty good at, of not forgetting. And here this guy just says, yeah, well, that was then, and this is now. And even when the sons start to die, he just keeps plowing forward. You have to remember where you came from as a people. And Chiel, who I think is representative, I don't think he's one unique individual, has forgotten, which means a lot of the people forgot, which is even more tragic than all this other stuff.
You also have that sense, and we talked a little bit about the book of Judges, and sort of what happens in the anarchy of Judges is that everyone does, right, what is straight and wise in his own eyes, anarchy. We're told, right? Yeah. Total anarchy. And so Chiel is kind of picking upon something that he views as, well, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And that represents like a total erosion in society, in any kind of stability in society that we see from the beginning of the chapter. And then here's one person's actions, but representative of the whole.
Yeah. And it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But we'll see you there soon.
We will.
Thanks.
Yeah.